Hi guys. I wanted to talk today about a sensitive subject, um, a subject that I, as well as many people who are not a part necessarily of the LGBTQIA community. I'm gonna keep it at LGBTQ because I think there's more letters to it, but I'm not gonna try to go there. Um, I don't think you have to be a part of the community to be able to pass an opinion. This is strictly what this is my opinion. Um, Disclaimer is that it's not here to shame, humiliate, traumatize, abuse, hurt, ridicule, dehumanize anyone, any group, or anything like that. Um, these are my thoughts and my personal opinions. With that being the case, Um, I guess I want to talk about it also because I'm a mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of society. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of trans people who have a lot of different thoughts, just like the rest of us. But there is a sector of the trans community and even LGBTQ community that really feel like you shouldn't have anything to say about them or their lifestyle. Um, I don't agree with that because you're a human being, you're a person just like anybody else. And if anybody else can get it, if anybody else can have an opinion passed upon them, whether they like it or not, then so can you. And I don't understand how that excludes you and how there's a specialness that people can't say anything. So with that said, I want to talk about um I want to talk about trans kids. Um been actually wanting to make this video probably for a few weeks now, but because, like I say, it's a sensitive subject. You have to make sure that your I's and T's are crossed and, all that. And your I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and you have to make sure that, you're speaking in a sensitive way. I think that should be the case of when you're talking about anybody. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I've I watch a lot of videos, not necessarily so much on like trans or whatever, but I have had detransition type videos come across my timeline frequently. And yeah, it's my algorithm because I have searched some of it out because there's things that I don't get, that I don't understand, that I don't know about lifestyle. And so I want to educate myself. Um, with that being the case, I get these things that come across my timeline, and most of them are about uh, teens and probably like early adults, early adulthood, um, kids who are in the detransitioning phase and who want to detransition or who have detransitioned. Now, detransitioning is basically um, the trans part comes in, of course, where um, a female or a male does not feel like they're born in the right body for whatever reason. So they go to doctors, I guess they get consultations of some sort, and they begin hormone treatment, puberty blockers, and things like this. Now, to change their gender, and the boys, of course, become female. females then began to transition into males and start taking testosterone and things like that, puberty blockers for them as well. Um, and so, but I think I know a huge issue for anyone who tackles this. I don't really know how many people are really tackling this issue. I'm sure there's some. Um, but, you know, I don't think people really talk very much about just how many of these children actually transition, detransition, and want to go back to the original um, biological gender that they were born in. And that's what I want to talk about. Um, they really don't show that a lot. Um, a few of very common things that I have seen when talking about trans and detransitioning and things like that. One of the main things that come up is these kids talk a lot about having some type of mental something going on with them, whether it's ADHD or whether it's like full blown bipolar or just something. Many of them, not all, many of them talk about having some type of mental or emotional things that are going on with them. Um, a lot of them, it's not, another thing I've noticed, it's not necessarily like the parenting or so forth. Like a lot of them have come from two parent homes. You know what I'm saying? Um, Another thing I've noticed is that a lot of them have what many would call supportive parents. Now, one of the things I want to say though is that I watched a whole panel of kids um, in some form of detransitioning phase, whether, like I said, they had or they're going to or something like that. Not just that, I've seen many videos of them talking personally, just different trans people talking personally about the after surgery, the problems, the implications and things that were not explained to them, that were not told to them, the long term effects that were not talked to them and explained to them. Um, so I've watched various videos. This is not just something I'm coming up with because I saw a couple, two, three videos. I've really literally done a lot of research, in my opinion. How much is enough? I don't know. I didn't watch 1,000 videos, but I've watched enough. You know what I'm saying? To feel like I can give my opinion. So the other thing that um, a lot of them talk about is going through, especially as teenagers and preteens, going through that awkward phase. You know what I'm saying? Going through that phase of really, honestly, that all of us went through. But they get stuck and caught in that phase of, oh, I don't feel pretty. I feel awkward. You know, I was tall and skinny and I had long legs, or, you know, my head didn't fit my body, or just whatever it is that all of us have went through. Uh, they will talk about being kind of like the odd kid out, which many of us went through that too. Like, I wasn't popular in school. I still ain't popular, you know, on my jobs and stuff like that. Like, I'm literally the one that is just there doing her work. You know what I'm saying? Not that I don't talk to people or anything like that. I do. I'm just never in the in crowd, you know? Um, and, but once again, that's something that happens to all of us. You know what I'm saying? But with, there's so many of them, even that talk about social media. There are ones that have literally and honestly said that if it had not been for social media, they probably would not have been able to get as much information. They would not have been as curious. They would not have had videos and people telling them of, well, your solution is to become a female. Your solution is to become a male. You're just born in the right body. You just don't have people that really truly know and understand what you're going through because you are a female, or you know what I'm saying? So it's like the pushing of it from social media. Um, there was one guy who I watched, and this particular young man said that he began to get the information and everything when he was about 14 years old from social media. Um, and I'm telling you, I've seen so many of these videos, I can't really remember. I think this young man may be like, was in his very early 20s or something right now, or like 1920, something like that. But he started at 14, and he said started on social media. He said he said literally he was okay. He said literally he was a boy and doing fine. But he said watching all those videos and everything just led him to a big curiosity, and he just went on along with it, like kind of like a big, that big rain that floods into the city and everything, and you kind of just get washed away with everything else. You know what I'm saying? That is how I picture that. And he said that he went to his parents and everything, and he was defiant about it, and it's what he wanted to do. um well, let me finish that thought out. And I mean, at a certain point, they can't do anything. I mean, you're demanding, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of these states and things, these parents can't say no. Like they have made it to where parents can't protest. They're calling it abuse. You know what I'm saying? So the parents, in a lot of ways, whether they, um, even if they feel that it's not right. They don't want to. They want you to get older. I mean, because it could be a thing for a lot of people, even for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel let somebody be free, let them do whatever they feel like they want to do once they get to be an adult. There is a reason why there are certain restrictions on what children can do and what adults can do. The child brain is not finished functioning. It's not finished forming literally till you get somewhere 25, 26 years old, honestly. But we've let 18-year olds make a lot of decisions. So that, I think, is the issue for a lot of people. Gay, straight, trans, like a lot of people feel like it should not be children who are able to make such a big life changing decision as putting things into your body and cutting off things of your body that is going to literally, physically, and completely alter your body. Even if you do detransition. You see what I'm saying? There was one young woman also who she was trying to transition to a guy. She had done it, was doing the testosterone, all that kind of stuff. And um, she was young, and she done it while she was in maybe like middle school or something like that, or early high school. And then as she got older, she said literally just learning from biology class, which is what, I don't know, for me I think it was like 10th grade biology. um but learning that, she said she learned that how important it was for babies to get mother's milk, and how it helps the brain, and how it helps them grow, and just all of the nutrients and all the things in the mother's milk that helps bond with the baby, that helps the baby to grow, that just, lifetime benefits. You know what I'm saying? For children who are breastfed. And she had had a double mastectomy. And she had already had this, like I said, before she had got to 10th grade or 11, whatever grade it was that she was taking the biology class, because she had already done all this. And she said it like was the first beginning of a wake up call to her, because she said she really had not even considered that. Like, she didn't figure her breasts were important. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I think she might have been one, because I've looked at a couple of them where there were girls who were literally talking about hating their bodies. One young lady, like I said, I don't know if it was her, but one young lady that I listened to, no, I think this was a different girl, but one young lady, this was an actual biological female who was trying to also transition to be male. And this girl said that when she started to develop, 11, 12 years old, whatever, she saw that she was getting some really big breasts. And she didn't like that. She didn't like the feeling. She didn't like the way boys were looking at her. She didn't like hearing the way boys were talking. She didn't like the way boys talked about girls. She didn't like the way social media talked about girls, and the dehumanizing, and the, feeling like, she said literally that she um equated breast and big breast and everything with being dumb, like a dumb stupid woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a brain, like you're just breast or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So basically what she was trying to say is, like, she felt like men dehumanize women to the point of just sex objects. And she saw that happening to her body. She started seeing her hips and everything grow, and, like I said, very large breasts. And she said she's very embarrassed. She absolutely hated it. And these were part of the reason why she, in particular, wanted to go and, like, change. And she said that she wasn't necessarily trying to be a boy. She just didn't want to be a girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, she did because of the portrayal that she's seen of women in society. Women don't get any respect. Women get treated like airheads. And she was like, she didn't want to be treated that way. She wanted to be an individual. She wanted people not to look at her, not like, don't, when I enter a room, don't look at my breasts, don't look at my body and stuff. Like, look at me as a person. So, and honestly and truly, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? In school, uh, I had a horrible time. I hated mine too. I really absolutely did, because just like her, they when mine grew, they grew, and kind of being a little chubby all my life, they were big. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, most of my young adult, or not even adult, most of my childhood and growing up and forming, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I grew up in a time where, it wasn't necessarily all that offensive for a boy to try to touch you or feel on you, or, grab something like that. All you can do is either run, go tell your mama, or tell his mama. And usually mamas don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Well, you need to stay in the house. You know what I'm saying? It was something like that. Now it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? But back when I was growing up, it what guys did. You know what I'm saying? Just like how they had to make laws, and I ain't trying to get off subject, y'all, but just how they had to make laws for men catcalling women. You know what I'm saying? Or, just being able to do whatever to women in the workplace. Like, they literally had to make laws for this, because it's just what men did. Like, it wasn't no thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to work here, you need to know what is expected of you, basically. So, I'm glad things have changed somewhat, but um, I absolutely get and understand where this young woman was coming from. A lot of it is not liking the body they're in. Another thing that I want to bring up is a lot of them talked about the acceptance. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about. A lot of them admitted that because of the laws and because of how things are where parents can get in trouble and things like that. Their parents supported them. Some of them even knew that their parents didn't deep down want to do that, but the parents supported them. And there was a few of them who were saying that I had nobody to tell me no. I had nobody to counteract it. I had nobody to tell me wait a couple years or whatever. Like that was literally, and that it hurt me when I heard it, but I got it in a way too, I guess, from the parents' perspective. But I mean, I don't really know because, like me, I still would have said something. Like I'm not. I mean, I that is too big and major. That's not like, Mom, I want to change my toothpaste. That's not like, you know, the I want to wear blue pants instead of green pants today. Like it's that's life altering. You know what I'm saying? And it's too big, in my personal opinion, for a parent not to say nothing and just go through this whole process. Like that's too much for me. So it hurt me to hear that they feel like if they had had some intervention, if somebody had given them another side to it. Now, let's talk about the doctors and medical people. Now, first of all, we know it's a money thing. We know it's a money thing. We know that there are all the way too many of these doctors and way too many of these specialists and so forth who are willing to do this to children. They're giving them the all of the positives. They're telling them that how good they are, and you'll be okay during this surgery. But the thing is, I've seen so many videos where these kids literally talk about wanting or making the decision to transition or whatever. And once they go to the doctor, like literally, they were able to leave with puberty blockers. Like literally, there was nothing, no other kind of consultation or whatever to try to give them another perspective. They were literally given the puberty blockers and or the testosterone or the estrogen or whatever it is that they needed to start right then, like immediately. And there are quite a number of them who talk about how they, the doctors never gave them the long term effects. The doctors kept saying, oh, it's going to be good, it's going to be fine. I'm an expert at this, or, we've done this so many times, and, this is just what needs to happen. And, with what's going on with you, I feel like, maybe you really are in the wrong. But like they're just giving them all kinds of encouragement, is literally what I'm trying to say. And so many of them don't feel, from what I have heard, that they got the full story. Like, man, the ones who I have seen on camera literally crying, like literally, and see, it's worse for me because I'm an empath and I can literally pick up people's feelings and emotions. Like, I can literally almost be in their body. Like I can literally take on those feelings. And man, I watched one of this. I don't even know if they were white or black. I think they were a mixed race kid. Um, and I think it was a female who had transitioned to male. And I don't know, she was about 16, 17 years old, or whatever. Very beautiful child, you know, um, very handsome. Um, Forgive me, I have a grocery order that's coming and I wanted to make sure I knew when my delivery was coming. Ooh, so it's coming soon. I better hurry up. So, um, it was such a dark place, man. Like she was sitting on her bed and she was telling the story and just talking about how she can't go back. Talking about how the testosterone and things like that have done things to her body, to her mind, to her life, that she can't go back. Like, this particular uh, young lady didn't talk about detransitioning. She just talked about her regret of doing it and how now I just have to live with this. Now, I don't know if by now, because I don't know how long the video was. Like I said, I've watched so many. Um, if she's discovered detransitioning and she feel like that may be something she may want to do, because she was absolutely miserable. She was absolutely miserable. I've seen many of them who talk about they thought being the other sex would give them more acceptance. Socially awkward teens, like I said, we've all gone through that. But then they talked about, like, this one particular young woman, she was trying to transition to male. She was talking about how even being in male groups, how even standing with them and listening to them and everything, she was like, she still couldn't wrap her mind around it. She had already, like, she was, I guess, full boy mode or whatever. And she still didn't like the way boys talked about girls. She was like, I'm standing here and I'm listening and I'm in this, and it's like I'm supposed to be a part of this, and I'm supposed to talk about, how many girls I'm whatever, and which girls I want to, you know, do this to, and you know, uh, basically all of the stuff that, and I think it was that particular young woman who was talking about her breast, if I'm not mistaken. But just talking about how awkward it is and how you feel like you have to perform, how I had to, like, be a boy, and I really didn't know how to be a boy. Like, I was a girl, and I transitioned because I didn't feel right in my body. I didn't want to be a girl, and so I did this. And then I get in male circles, and I've heard a couple of them talk about this here, more, maybe more than a couple, how they feel like they're fake. They feel like they're not being real with themselves. It's like they have to put on an act to portray being a girl or a guy, whatever, because you're not that. So you gotta basically pretend how it would be. Do you know what I'm saying? And so you got that problem. You got the problem of, the over accepting parents. You got the problem of them feeling like, I wish someone had given me another point of view. You got the point of how many of them, and this is going to be it, I'm going to cut the video off at this, how many of them actually really feel like if they had waited even a couple years from whatever age they started, if they had waited a little bit, maybe their mind would have changed. And that is where you start seeing a lot of them talking about, I completely stopped the testosterone. I completely stopped taking the estrogen. And I just didn't want to do it anymore. And they start detransitioning themselves. You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, when you have already gotten stuff cut off and all that, kind of like there's other things that you have to do, or you gonna, like, really bring some bad effects onto your body. So I think at a certain point, you kind of just got to go on with it. Um, but they're talking about how they felt so adamant about it when they were 12 and 14 and 11 or whatever. Like, they were just mad at the world, mad at their parents, and like already ready for the fight of their parents. And they're just like, but we didn't get it. They're just like, then they'd be like, oh, well, I kind of wish they had said something. Um, but taking those just couple of years after or later is where a lot of them begin to get the idea of, I'm going to stop doing this here. I'm going to quit the estrogen or whatever. And I'm going to, because, and the reason why that is because they have gotten a little older and their mind has changed. You know what I'm saying? The things I thought about at 11, I wasn't thinking about the same stuff when I got 14. You know what I'm saying? The things and my mindset and everything. And this is me as a biological woman. The things that I did and thought about when I was 14 years old, I wasn't thinking the same thing. And I wasn't even the same person probably at 17. You know what I'm saying? Just mentally and the things you think about and the life changes and everything that have happened to you. So I say that and I bring all of this up because I just, I feel like parents honestly need to be more accountable and have more responsibility and even consequences for allowing their children just to do this. Because if that child, that same child who's talking about changing their whole complete gender, were to get behind a car drinking, that parent would be in trouble, in horrible trouble. If that child was caught at a wild sex party drinking and smoking, the parent would be in horrible trouble. That child can't sign up to go and fight in the military. That child can't um, legally, like I say, do drugs or anything like that. That child can't go say, you know what, I don't think I want a gallbladder. I think I just want to get my gallbladder taken out. They're gonna have all kind of problems. All kind of problems. That child legally, these children can't even legally go get tattoos and piercings, but they can change their gender. Like, that is my problem. I'm not saying that a grown 21-year-old man or whatever can't feel, if he's a woman, he feel like what, like, okay, that's fine. That's cool. Do it. An 18, 19-year-old, which I still in my mind feel like is very young, but they're not 12 trying to make the decision. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't think it's enough time. And parents and doctors and these people who are allowed to do this to children and for children and then take absolutely no responsibility for when things go awry or when the child doesn't like who they are now, you don't hear those stories. And that's my problem. You keep making it easy to be a trans, but the number of stories also that I've heard about children who are these teens who want to detransition and they don't have anybody, like they don't have no support, no friends, no nothing. So they try to go back to their friends that they've made and they get shunned. Story after story. They get shunned. Like the whole trans community is like, oh, well, you messing it up for us. And, because this one girl is like a whole detransition advocate. And she was talking about how she tried to start a thing for for other teens and kids who wanted to detransition. And she went to the trans community to try to get support. She said they completely shut her down. They completely told her, you're messing it up for us, and you're making it look bad, and not supporting trans kids, and it's like you're just being a horrible nuisance. They don't want to be her friend. They don't want to talk to her, even despite her. Even ones who just tried to go back and be friends with friends they had made in the trans community, they weren't accepted anymore because they aren't trans anymore. How unfair is that? Like, how, man, I could say so much about that. But you guys, I wanted to bring that out. I really don't think it's talked about enough. The number of children who actually detransition and change their mind after a little bit. Um, some of them don't, and if they don't, that's fine. If they're happy and good, and that's fine. That ain't, I don't have no problem with that. But I think it needs to be brought out the number of kids who are pushed and encouraged into doing this, and yet they have nowhere to go, literally no support when they want to change back. And it's hard. It's very hard. And my heart goes out to them because it's like, damn, look at all that you're going through as a kid. Like I couldn't even imagine. the surgeries, the pain, the emotional stuff that they like. I can't even imagine, because just as a biological female and going through all of the crap that I was going through with puberty and all, just oh my, that was enough for me. Let alone talking about I feel like I'm in the wrong body, and I'm getting encouraged to do this, and now I'm getting stuff whacked off, and I'm getting my breasts aren't. I can't imagine what that has to do to their mind. I mean, I can feel their pain, and it's horrible, and it hurts me, and we need some changes. I feel like we need some changes to be done. Um, that's it for this video. My uh, position in this video is that I tried to be sensitive. I tried to be um, caring and kind in this. I didn't try to hurt, ridicule, or abuse or make anybody else feel any kind of horrible way in this video. If I did, I absolutely apologize. It was not the intent. It was just to bring about something that is not talked about, that I think needs to be talked about. Because I think kids who want to detransition, I feel like they need just as much support as ones who want to transition. I really do. So you guys leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel as a parent, as a gay, as a straight. Everybody has their opinion. I want to throw this out real quick. Jeffree Star. Some of you may know him. I learned of Jeffree Star maybe a couple, 2, 3 years ago because of his makeup. He has a whole makeup line. He is an openly gay man, and he has lots of opinions on it. And well, he says it's just stupid, but I think from a gay male perspective that people need to go and listen to what his opinions are about the trans community. You know, not that he said that being trans was stupid, with some of the ideology and some of the things that they're trying to push and trying to, get people to go along with it. He's just like, look, I can say this. You know what I'm saying? I'm a whole gay man. I'm in this. And I honestly think more people like Jeffree Star and in the community need to be the ones to come out and say things about this, because as straight people, we don't feel like we have a voice, even though I have a huge heart for this. And we don't feel like we have a voice, or we can say anything, because we get attacked. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't understand, or you don't get it. So, yeah. You guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I think my groceries are at my door. Uh, Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit all notifications so that you know when I upload new videos. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, we'll see you next time.